Hello and welcome back to this channel. My name is Zoe, and in today's video I want to talk about books that I personally liked in the last 2 months. My last wrap up, big wrap up, was the August wrap up, and after that I decided that I needed a break from filming wrap-ups. The biggest reason for that is that I was kind of in a slump and I didn't want to talk about the books that I read that much. And now I'm back, but not with oh, this is everything I read in September or October. It's more like these are the books that I read and really liked in September and October. I will not talk in this video about my DNFs, which was a lot, and not about my 1, 2, or 3 stars. I talk here about 4 and 5 stars books that I personally think about and that I really enjoyed, and so I can fully recommend these specific books to you without talking about negative stuff, or maybe I have something negative to say about one of these books. But before I talk more, here are the books. For September I have 2 books for you that I really enjoyed, and actually 1 book that I really love. And so maybe let's start with my 4-star book, so we can go afterwards to the 5-star. So my 4-star book is Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas. And if you don't know this book, welcome to Book Talk. But this book, it was very popular on Book Talk. It's about a young woman. She is I think 19 at the point of the book, and she is in a relationship with a boy. He's also legal adult, but his behavior is not it. He's a young, a teenage boy behavior that he has. And she moves in with her boyfriend to his dad's house. And I forgot already the name, but this is always like that. I forgot the names. But actually in this book, the feminism left my body. Honestly, it left my body. And after it left my body, I could really enjoy this book. It was interesting, but I had so much fun to read this, especially with this topic of an age gap and this old man. It was not that old, but this old man loving his son's girlfriend. It was really interesting to read both perspectives with the pros and cons of their decision that they have in their mind, if this is the right decision, if this is a correct behavior. And we are following the story, and I actually really had a great time reading this. I was in a big reading slump. I read one shitty book after shitty book. I DNF'd so many books in the beginning of September. So when I started reading this, I was like, okay, this is fun. This is a fun read. So I can really recommend this to you if you are enjoying age gaps. And the other book is also a romance book. And this was my 5 stars. My only 5-star of this month, and this was All the Fears by Olivia Dade. In All the Fears, you follow now this series star Alex, and he has a personal assistant, Lauren, and Lauren's biggest job is to prevent bad publicity from Alex, because he is this dude who is always in the Boulevard press just for bad stuff, and her job is to prevent these things to happen. And you already read from Alex in Spoiler Alert, but Spoiler Alert was about his co-worker or his best friend, and now in the story you follow him. And honestly, my huge negative from Spoiler Alert was that I missed the whole he's a star point, from Alex's best friend. What is going on in Spoiler Alert. So I was really excited to read about this whole he's a star problem in All the Fears. So you follow now Alex and Lauren's story, and honestly I enjoyed this also so much because Alex is a huge fan fiction fan. The whole fan fiction theme is a big theme, and so far both of the books in Spoiler Alert, this was the whole plot point. And in All the Fears, it's also a kind of side joke. and Alex is also writing fanfiction. And it's so funny because I was a huge fanfiction girl back in my teenager years. I read fanfictions, exclusively read fanfiction for 2 years in a row. I didn't touch a single book. I only read fanfictions. I wrote fanfiction by myself. So it was actually fun to see, and I had so much, I enjoyed it so much to read how excited he was about fanfiction. And also you have Lauren, who's a psychologist, and she actually needed a break from her job. And as someone who works myself in healthcare, I understood her so much why she needed a break from healthcare system. And honestly, this book was on so many levels, it broke my heart, just for the fact like his excitement for fanfictions, also his feels about in general the show that he's working with. And I don't have experience in working on a show, but also like her side as a person who works in healthcare who has a really hard time. So this book was a 5-star for me. I can really recommend this to you. It was really cute, but I think you need to really enjoy the theme fanfictions in books. But their relationship also was so cute. I really loved it. So let's go to October. In October I have more 4 and 5 stars for you. Actually, I don't have a 5-star for you, but the first book that I finished was, this is the only physical copy, by the way, I have from all the books, is Babel by Kuang. I have here the stunning Illuminate edition. I really enjoyed this book as much as you can enjoy a book with them themes. But you follow the story Robin. Robin is a boy that is originally from China, but he lost his parents, or he lost his mother, and now he is in care. A man from England took care of him, took him to England, London, and he gets the education to go to Oxford, to Babel. And you follow now in the beginning his story, first of all getting the education, and then the story how he is in Babel. And you also follow the biggest themes in the story is the racism, is the colonialism, is how much the Brits fucked everything up in the history. And this was honestly great to read about. Not that the themes are actually great, it is not great at all, but it was really eye-opening, and I had a interesting time to read about this because I didn't know this at all. Just for your information, I'm from Germany. Not that we had I think I don't know anything about this time period from other countries, because like in Germany was also a lot of things happened in this. Why it's not actually a 5-star for me was this the beginning was really slow. It's a lot about languages, the translation of languages, and I didn't really enjoy this in the beginning because I'm not a huge fan of languages. I only speak German in English. I couldn't really like enjoy the moments when the narrator speaks like in French or Italian, because it did give me nothing. But I really enjoyed the story. The next book is Olympus by Rachel Smythe. I read this on Webtoons, so this is actually great because first of all it's for free and I don't need an account. So I, instead of buying the volume 1, which is really expensive, I could read it online as a Webtoon. So I recommend this to you if you like want to read this and you don't want to spend the money on it. Webtoon, this is not an ad at all for everything here, okay? But Webtoon ad, and you don't need an account, you can read this. And so far I could read like unlimited of chapters. I'm already in volume 2, in the end of volume 2. So I looked this up on Goodreads, like what chapters are in volume 1, what chapters are in volume 2. So I get the whole volume. I don't know if it's like the same or if they added more, but I really like the artwork. I'm a huge fan of the Persephone and Hades story. I really enjoyed this to read about this, and I really like the artwork in the book, and also the color scheme. It's cute and it's fun to read. It's a quick read, and if you want to fill something in your life where you don't need to like comprehend like big words, I think it's a great book to, or like graphic novel to read and to look at it. It's like stunning artwork, and I really like the blue and pinks of the artwork. So the next book is a third book, and it is Kuang in Mart by Michelle Zauner. I listened to this as an audiobook. By the way, I can recommend this audiobook to you. It is narrated by the author itself. This is my favorite, by the way, my favorite thing in the world, if the audiobook is narrated by the author itself. So it was her story, and she talked about her story, which was really heartbreaking. So you follow Michelle Zauner in the book. That is her life. Was her life a few years ago, because her mother got cancer, and she take care of her while she was in cancer treatment. And also it talk about parent loss and all the things. And on top of that, it's like the story about finding yourself in your culture, if like no one wants to teach you what your culture is. So it was really a heartbreaking story. I did not rate this in the end, but I can really recommend this to you because it was really sad, and it's a hard topic to talk about. I did not rate this because I had a hard time to distance myself from the content of the story, because like I said with in the beginning with all the fears, I work myself in healthcare and I work with cancer patients, and I had a hard time to go to work with my patients, and go home, leave work behind. I always do that, try to do that, leave work behind, and then listen to an audiobook where it's about cancer again. So I had a hard time to differentiate it, but I enjoyed this book as much as I can enjoy a book with this topic, but I can definitely recommend this book to you. The last book is a really short book that I read in the end of October, which was Galatea by Madeleine Miller. So Galatea is based on like this one story, I think in Homer, but I don't know anymore. I got a German arc for this. So my only negative I have about this book is that the actually story itself is really short, like maximum 40 pages, 50 pages, I don't know. The whole book itself had, I think, 84 pages. You have like a preface for the book, and you have an afterword for the book. The afterword is really long. It's like the original story. So the story itself about Galatea is like really short. So I wished it was more about, you get more about Galatea, about her story, like maybe how she wake up from a statue to a woman and living her life, or not just this little tiny bit of her life, but it's like the only minus. It was a really powerful story. I enjoyed my time reading it. It was a quick read. Like I said, the actually story itself 40 pages. So it was a quick read. I really enjoyed it. I rated it in the end 4 stars. So this was all my favorites from the last 2 months. I think I will see how November and December goes, but I think it's time for me to actually do that. If you want, I can film a video about my maybe 1 stars and DNFs. But so far I'm not really vibing with that. And yeah, let me know what in the last 2 months or in the last month was your favorite book. What did you enjoy to read? And then I wish you all a great day whenever you watch this, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!